Welcome back to the poker vlog, everyone. This is session number 23 at the Wynn. 2-5 no limit, 1500 max buy-in. On our first button, we pick up ace 10 offsuit. Folds over to the hijack, who makes it 20. He has about 1500 behind. Appears to be a recreational player based on how his chips are stacked. Doesn't really matter. I'll be 3-betting or folding here. I decide to 3-bet to 65 in position. Folds back to him, and he makes the call. We go heads up to a flop of Queen Jack 3 with 2 spades. So we have an over, gutter to the nuts, and backdoor spade draw. The 10 of spades is also just a nice card to have here because we can cancel out some of his suited spade combos like King 10, Queen 10, Ace 10 of spades. He checks it to me, and I bet 60 to fold out some mid to small pocket pairs, and he lays it down. Next, we have King Queen of spades from under the gun. I open it up to 15. Cutoff, button, and big blind all make the call. We go 4 ways to a flop of Queen 10-4 with 2 diamonds. Big blind checks. I bet 25 for value, and it folds to the button, who makes the call. He has about 700 behind. Big blind folds, and we go heads up to a 9 of clubs on the turn. Not the safest card, but we do pick up a gut shot here. I bet 60 to charge flush draws in hands like 10 jack, jack 9, but he makes the laydown.
Thank you.
Shortly after that one, I get moved to the main game, and everybody agrees on a round of straddles. It's my under the gun straddle, and I pick up pocket 6s. +1 opens for 40, has about 2500. Everyone folds to me, and I defend for 30 more. We go heads up to a flop of 9-5-3 with 2 hearts, so pretty good flop for our actual hand, only 1 overcard, and we have some backdoor draws. I check, and he continues with a good-sized bet of 80. So he's repping an overpair here, but I think we can maybe take this pot away on future streets, so I peel 1 more to possibly make a play at this pot with certain runouts. I call 80, and we get a 10 of clubs on the turn. I check it to him, hoping he slows down, but he doesn't. Sizes up bigger this time with a bet of 175. Feels like he still has an overpair, but I'm not sure if I can push him off. I think about putting in a raise right here, but I'd have to jam the river. Not really the turn card I was looking for to make a move on this pot, although I should have all the sets and 2 pair hands in this situation, but without any information on him just yet, I decide to lay it down here and we'll look for a better spot. 5 minutes later, we pick up Ace King offsuit in the cutoff. Under the gun $10 straddles on. Under the gun player limps. It's folded to me, and I raise to 50. We get calls from the button, straddler, and the under the gun limper. So we had 4 ways to a flop of 8-7 deuce with 2 spades. It checks over to me. With 3 opponents in, just calling 50, I slow down and check, and it checks through. We get a 7 of hearts on the turn, pairing the board. The straddler leads out small now with a bet of 60. It folds to me, and I make the call here with some intentions to take this one away. I would have played an overpair like aces or kings similarly, so the button folds, and we do improve on the river with the king of clubs. Makes it a lot easier. If he checks, we're definitely betting for value, but he's still not deterred and leads for 100. Feels like a bit of a blocker bet, and maybe I should be raising here, but I think about it for a bit and decide I'm probably not getting value from much worse here very often, so I just make the call, and he shows pocket 3s. Next, we have Ace Queen offsuit from the big blind. +1 opens for 20. He has 1500. Button and small blind make the call. Ace Queen offsuit doesn't play well out of position multi-way, so I decide to put in the 3-bet here to 120, hoping to narrow down the field or just take it down. Everyone folds, and we take the 60. Next, we have Ace 10 in the cutoff. I just missed my blind, so I posted the $7. Button straddle is on this time for 10. Under the gun player opens for 40. I just call this time since he's raising from under the gun. Everyone else folds, and we go heads up to a flop of Ace 9-4 with 2 diamonds. He checks it to me, and I decide to check back because I'm a little suspicious of him opening under the gun and then checking an ace high flop. So we get a 5 of clubs on the turn, and now he wants to lead for 30. I make the call, not sure if we're ahead, and we spike a 10 of clubs on the river, improving to top 2 pair now. He continues betting with 100, so now I'm confident that he checked a big ace on the flop, and I put in a raise to 275. He seems annoyed. He's pretty sure I hit 2 pair, says vloggers are nits, and he shows an ace and lays it down. Good fold, sir.
Ace 9, Ace 10. Vloggers are nits.
Next, we have King Queen in the hijack. It folds to me, and I put in the raise to 15. Gets to the small blind, who's an active player, and he puts in the 3-bet to 60. He has 1600 behind. It's back to me, and I decide to make the call here just because we're in position, not necessarily based on our cards. Think we can evaluate a flop. So we go heads up to a flop of 7, 8, 10 with 2 spades. We miss completely, but it's a good flop for our 3-bet calling range pre-flop in position. So when he checks it to us, I take the initiative and bet 80, knowing that he's probably capped at 1 pair at best if it's an overpair. Other than that, it could just be ace highs, small aces suited. Like I said, his range seems pretty wide open, so I fire the 80 and he lays it down. Just 5 minutes later, we pick up pocket 5s in the big blind. Under the gun player limps. Same player from last hand, Nick from Colorado, makes it 25 to play. Small blind calls. I call. Under the gun limper calls. We go 4 ways to a flop of king deuce 3 rainbow. Small blind checks. I check, and it checks through. We get a 6 of clubs on the turn, pick up a gut shot. Action repeats, and it checks through for a second time. River pairs the board with a deuce. Feels like we have the best hand now, unless bigger pocket pairs check twice, but seems unlikely. We check to Nick, and he bets 60. It folds to me this time, and well...
Can't just give it to you.
Nick is a nice guy, so when he says good call, we're not going to make him show, roll over the 5s, and we take down a nice pot there with a small pair. Next, we are under the gun +1 with ace-king and open for 15. Folds to Nick, and here he comes again with a 3-bet to 50 from the cutoff. Folds back to us, and I typically 4-bet here, but I do it so often. This time I decide to flat out of position here against a dangerous player. We go heads up to a nice flop, ace-king 6 with 2 hearts, so we nail top 2 pair, kind of disguised. He probably thinks I'm 4-betting here more often than not. I check, and he continues with a bet of 65. Decision time, back on us. Do we call or raise here? I think a raise is better. There's flush and straight draws out there, and if I stick in a raise, I'll probably get value from ace-queen or ace-jack. So I make it 205 to play, hoping he has some of it, and he makes the lay down. Next, we are in the big blind with a suited ace-3 and spades. Under the gun player limps. Hijack raises to 20. Small blind calls, and I defend. Under the gun limper calls as well. We go 4 ways to a flop of jack 3-5 with 2 spades. So big flop. We flop bottom pair and nut flush draw. I check here with intentions on raising the aggressor, but unfortunately it checks through. Nobody seemed very interested. Turn, 6 of hearts. Checks to me. I take the lead now and bet 50, thinking I'm probably taking this pot down here. Under the gun player folds, and the pre-flop raiser sticks in a raise to 130. Next player folds, and it's back on us. So what does he have to check that flop there and now raise the turn? I don't think he's checking back many flops with a set on a wet board like that with straight and flush draws. So either he turned a set of 6s, or he maybe turned like a big nut flush draw and straight draw with like ace-7 of hearts, maybe ace-4 of hearts. So I'm not sure if I'm even behind at this point. But we're definitely seeing a river for 80 more to see if we can improve. And we do indeed nail the 4 of spades on the river for the nut flush. So action's on us. What do we do? Check or bet? Well, if we check, we risk him checking back and not getting any value. But if he was on a missed heart draw, he might have to fire off a bluff and we can catch him there. Or he might have actually improved his hand with a straight, like if he did have like ace-7 of hearts. If he has a set, he might check back or he might go for value. So I think the best play is to check here, because if I bet, I might even fold out a set, and then the hearts have no chance to bluff. So I like a check here to see what he does. So he goes for green chips right away, which is good news. He decides on a bet of 275. So action's back on us now. How much do we raise to? Well, given the information before, I don't think we're going to get much action. If he has a missed flush draw, that's just a bluff and he's going to fold right away. If he has a set, now he can't beat either straight or a flush. So I do decide on a little bit bigger of a raise. Maybe it'll confuse him. Maybe it'll look like a bluff. I make it 950 on the river. He goes into the tank a bit. He's annoyed. He has a set of 6s, is what he says. He ends up making a good fold, and we take down a pretty nice pot there. But good fold, sir. I had it. To the final hand of the evening, we pick up pocket 5s in the hijack. Under the gun player, who has been tight, has about 800, opens for 15. Next player calls. I call. Cutoff calls. and we go 4 ways to a flop 7-5-4 with 2 spades. We flop middle set on a coordinated board. Under the Gun player leads right out though for $50. So for him to lead out into 3 of us, I feel like it's an overpair, and like I said, it's been kind of tight. So next player folds and action's on us. I decide to just flat here. I don't want to scare him off just yet, and he could also have like an ace-high spade draw as well to be leading out into us. So we go heads up to a queen of spades on the turn, and this time he checks it. So I'm not really worried about a flush. I think he might have a hand like maybe 9s through jacks. Could even be aces or kings. Probably not queens, as he'd probably bet that turn. So he checks it to me. I bet 75 for value against some overpairs. He ends up making the call. We get a king of hearts on the river, another blank, unless he has kings, of course. He checks it again. I still got a bet for value here. If he raises me, we're gonna find out. I bet 150, and he makes the laydown, says it was pocket 9s. So that's going to wrap this session up, guys. We were in the game for 1 bullet finally, 1500, out for 2174. Game was pretty tough, played about 6 hours, so feels good to book another winner here, keep the streak going again, and we'll catch you at the end of the video. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed the hands from session number 23. If you're new, I'd appreciate you hitting the like and subscribe button for more poker content every Sunday around 9 a.m. whenever I can finish the video. And as always, at the end of each video, we put the stats after every session, put the No Limit Hold'em stats there. Keep track as we go along here since we started vlogging 23 weeks ago. That's about it. Stick around to the end for a cool trick shot, and best of luck at the tables, everyone. We'll see you next Sunday.